In my past life, I chose Eric Miller. He wasn't my first choice, not really. He was the decent one, the proper one, the orphan my father, Mayor Lee, had sponsored alongside a dozen other boys. He was the one who knelt before me in my father's study, his calloused hands clasped together, his dark eyes swimming with tears, and begged. "Samantha, please," he'd whispered, his voice cracking. "My mother is sick. If you don't marry me, they'll send you to the countryside for re-education, and I'll lose the only person who can care for her." I said yes because he had once saved me. When I was 16, human traffickers had drugged my drink at a welcome banquet. I remembered chaos, a fading consciousness, and then a whirlwind of fists and fury. When I woke up, Eric was by my bed, his knuckles bloody, claiming he'd fought them all off. I believed him. I owed him. So I thought, fine. Let this be my way of repaying him. For a while, it was good. He was romantic, sweet, gentle. He brought me wildflowers he'd picked from the commune fields. He wrote me clumsy poems. He looked at me like I was the only star in a dark sky. I truly believed I had made the right choice. I believed I had taken a debt of gratitude and turned it into a lifetime of love. I was a fool. The day it ended was as ordinary as any other. The autumn wind rattled the windows of our small apartment. I was hemming a pair of his trousers when the front door opened. I looked up, a smile already forming on my lips. That smile died. Eric stood in the doorway, but the gentle man I knew was gone. In his place was a stranger with hollow eyes. Behind him, clinging to his arm like a vine to a dying tree, was Lily Carter. She was a former classmate, a girl with a perpetually trembling lip and eyes that knew exactly how to cry on command. "Eric," I asked, setting down the trousers. "What is this?" He didn't answer. He just walked toward me, his footsteps heavy. Before I could stand, he lunged. He grabbed my wrists with a strength I didn't know he possessed. I screamed, but his hand clamped over my mouth. "Don't," he said, his voice flat. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." Lily closed the door behind her and locked it. She smiled. It was a beautiful, terrible smile. What followed was a nightmare carved into my bones. They didn't kill me. Not then. Death would have been a mercy. Instead, they sliced through the tendons in my hands and feet. I felt the cold kiss of the blade, the hot rush of my own blood, and then nothing but agony. They locked me in a basement. Pitch black. No light, no sound, no hope. I lay there in the dark, my own blood pooling around me, and I listened to their voices from above. "If you hadn't insisted on marrying me and sending Lily down to the countryside," Eric shouted one night, his voice echoing through the floorboards, "she wouldn't have been defiled by those filthy thugs. You and your family will pay with blood." I learned later what pay with blood meant. My father, the most honorable man I knew, was reported for indecent behavior. A lie. A perfectly crafted, venomous lie. Unable to bear the public disgrace, he and my mother jumped into the river. They held hands, witnesses said. They went under together. And still, Eric wasn't done. I was pregnant. 4 months. I had felt the flutter of life inside me, a tiny heartbeat that was the only light in my darkness. But Eric saw it as a resource. "Lily's body is frail," he said coldly, standing over me in the basement. He held a pair of surgical scissors. "She needs a baby and a car to nourish herself. The baby's cord blood will make her strong again. This is what you owe her." He didn't use anesthesia. He didn't care. He tore our child out of me with his own hands. I felt everything. Every rip, every tear, every piece of my soul being carved away. I saw the tiny, lifeless form in his hands before he turned and walked away. Then he threw my half-dead body into a pigsty. The pigs hadn't been fed in 3 days. Their eyes glowed in the dark as they approached. They started with my fingers. The last thing I heard before consciousness faded was the sound of my own bones cracking. And then nothing but a pile of white bones and a faint cry that no one heard. I opened my eyes. The world was blinding. Light poured in from a window, washed with spring rain. I was in my old bedroom. My childhood bedroom. The walls were the same pale blue, the bookshelf still crammed with dog-eared novels, and the scent of my mother's jasmine tea drifted up from the kitchen. I was alive. No, I was reborn. The knowledge hit me like a flood. Every detail of my past life, The love, the betrayal, the basement, the pigs, was seared into my memory. I looked down at my hands. Smooth. Unscarred. My fingers curled with strength. Before I could process anything, the door burst open. Eric Miller stormed toward me, his face contorted with rage. He was young again, just as I was. His jaw was tight, his eyes blazing. Samantha Lee, how can you be so vicious? I stared at him. This was the man who had torn my child from my womb. This was the man who had fed me to pigs. And now he stood before me, furious about. What? Still in shock, I barely had time to react before Lily Carter came running up behind him, crying on cue. Eric, please don't yell at Sammy. She whimpered, her voice a perfect tremble. Maybe she didn't really steal my spot in the arts troupe. And maybe it wasn't her who made Mayor Lee abuse his power to send me away to the countryside. Ah, the arts troupe. The countryside. This was the beginning. In my past life, I had been too naive to see her manipulation. But now I watched her with new eyes. Just a few words, a few well-placed tears, and she had already planted the poison. Eric's anger flared hotter, just as she intended. Samantha Lee, you can't take out your anger on Lily just because you want to marry me, he snarled. I can't believe how filthy your mind and actions are. Is this how you repay the organization and the people for raising you? In my past life, I would have cried. I would have apologized. I would have begged for his understanding. In this life, I felt nothing but disgust. My stomach churned. I thought of the basement, the scissors, the pigs. And I snapped. Stop playing the victim, I said, my voice sharp as a blade. You didn't get into the arts troupe because you weren't good enough. You got sent to the countryside because you needed re-education. What's wrong with that? Only by going down, there can you be taught by the poor and lower-class farmers. You don't want to go. That just proves your mindset is problematic. I turned to leave. I wanted to get away from them as fast as possible. But Eric's hand shot out, shoving me hard against the wall. The back of my head cracked against the plaster. Where do you think you're going? He hissed. Feeling guilty now. I don't care. Apologize to Lily right now, or I'll never forgive you for the rest of my life. Lily dropped to her knees with a dramatic thud. Eric, please don't do this. It'll only make Sammy hate me even more. She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. Sammy, I'm begging you. Please have mercy. Let me into the arts troupe. This has been my dream since forever. If I miss this chance, I'll never have a future. She knocked her forehead against the ground. Twice. Hard. Eric's eyes burned with fury. Samantha Lee, he shouted, I want you and your father to hold a public meeting. Apologize to Lily and give her back the spot you stole. If you don't, I swear I'll never marry you. I almost laughed. The absurdity of it. This man, this monster, threatening to withhold a marriage that had been my execution. Eric Miller, I said, my voice cold, are you seriously this full of yourself? Take a look in the mirror. Who said I ever wanted to marry you? He sneered. Keep acting. Go on. Did you tell your dad you'd marry no one but me? Dream on, sweetheart. Without hesitation, I kicked him. Hard. Right in the crotch. He doubled over with a strangled gasp, his face turning purple. Lily screamed. I walked away without looking back. You still think I'm that gullible, sweet little pushover from before. Forget it. Don't come looking for me in this life. If you do, I'll make sure you regret ever being born. When I returned home, the familiar warmth of my family's house enveloped me like a bomb. My parents were in the middle of discussing a good husband for me. 2 senior officials, old family friends, sat on the sofa, offering advice. One thing we can guarantee, one of them said, is that these 12 young men are all outstanding. We didn't save and scrimp our whole lives for nothing. My mother smiled. Sammy, come take a look. See if there's anyone you like. Seeing my gentle, loving parents again brought tears to my eyes. In my past life, I had watched them die. I had received the news of their suicide in my dark basement, unable to even cry at their funeral. Now they were here, alive, smiling. I buried my grief deep in my chest and threw myself into their arms. I held them for a long moment, memorizing the scent of them, the beat of their hearts. Then I pulled back and said the words that would change everything. I want to marry Jason Reed. The lively room fell into awkward silence. The elders frowned, exchanged glances. "Are you sure about that?" one of them asked carefully. "You do realize Jason Reed is the notorious troublemaker from the compound, right? Right after high school, your father had to send him to a remote military unit to toughen him up." I remembered Eric Miller talking about Jason Reed. He described him as a reckless thug, a womanizer who had dated more than 5 or 6 girls and beaten them all half to death. In my past life, I had believed every word. I had looked down on Jason, avoided him at all costs. But I also remembered the truth. In my past life, after I died, Jason Reed was the one who dug my rotting body out of that pigsty. I hadn't known it at the time. I was already bones. But I learned later, in fragments of memory that surfaced after my rebirth. He had sobbed so hard over my remains that the sound shattered the silence of the world. He had spent every last cent of his savings trying to clear my father's name, burying my family with dignity. And in the end, he had dragged Eric Miller into a burning building and died with him. He had taken revenge for me, a woman who had never given him a single kind word in her entire life. That was the man I wanted. "If it's not him," I said firmly, "I don't want anyone. I'd rather stay single for life and dedicate myself to the nation's artistic development." My mother chuckled, though her eyes were worried. "You silly child. Even if you get married, you can still serve your country. What about Eric?" my father added. "Haven't you two always been close? He's a decent guy. We've always admired his character." A sharp, twisting pain shot through my heart. My eyes instantly welled up. "Decent. Admirable." Those were the words that had killed us. "Why are you crying, sweetheart?" My mother's voice turned anxious. "Oh, my poor baby. What's wrong?" They saw something was off and immediately backed off. All right. We won't pressure you," my father softened. "We respect your choice. But if Jason ever does anything to hurt you, we won't let him off the hook." The next evening, after dinner, I went to the new house my parents had prepared for me. It was a wedding gift, a beautiful standalone villa with a courtyard, surrounded by blooming jasmine. In my past life, I had never gotten to live there. Eric had insisted we stay at his place to care for his widowed mother, and I had agreed, eager to be a good daughter-in-law. But the moment I arrived at the villa, I was stunned. The gates were wide open. Lights blazed through the yard. And from a distance, I could hear Lily Carter's sugary, flirtatious laughter. My heart soured. I pushed open the door and walked inside. What I saw made my blood run cold. Dozens of color photographs of Eric and Lily were plastered shamelessly all over the living room walls. On the furniture, on the wedding dowry my parents had prepared for me. Bright, bold, front and center. They had used my imported camera, the one I treasured so much, the one I had barely touched because I wanted to save it for my wedding day. They'd used up my only roll of film. And there they were, in the middle of it all. Eric and Lily were tangled together on the couch, all passion and no shame. His hands were on her waist. Her lips were on his neck. "From now on, this is our home," Eric was saying, his voice smug. "Once we're married, you won't have to suffer in the countryside anymore. I've already pulled strings with someone in the arts troupe. You'll be in soon." Lily clung to him, biting her lip in that fake sweet way of hers. "Eric, you're too good to me." She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed the corner of his mouth. "I've got nothing else to repay you with, so I'll give you all of me." I kicked the half-closed door open with one foot. They scrambled apart instantly, fumbling with their buttons, their faces pale with panic. Eric's expression twisted when he saw me. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "Were you following me?" I let out a cold laugh. "Following you? You think you're that important? Please. This is my house. I don't need your permission to be here." Eric curled his lips into a sneer. "Why so hostile? Weren't you the one who was begging to marry me before?" He crossed his arms, smug. "Here's the deal. Sign this house over to me, and maybe I'll consider marrying you. But first, I'm marrying Lily. That way she won't have to go suffer in the countryside. As for the arts troupe spot, you can either give it up willingly, or I'll have someone kick you out. Your call." His words made my blood boil. My forehead was practically steaming. How could I have ever chosen this piece of trash as a husband in my past life? I had given him everything, my trust, my love, my body, my child, without defense, without doubt. "You disgusting pigs," I shouted, grabbing a handful of their photos and hurling them toward the door. "Get out. Both of you. Get your filthy selves out of my house. Don't throw them," Lily shrieked. She suddenly rushed forward, grabbed my hand, and then deliberately shoved herself backward, falling hard onto the floor. "Oh, that really hurts, Sammy," she whimpered, sitting on the ground and fake crying. "How could you be so cruel to me? You vicious woman, Samantha Lee," Eric roared. He snatched a heavy photo frame from the table and smashed it down toward my head. I raised my arm, just in time to shield myself. The glass shattered. Shards drove deep into my forearm, and blood gushed out in thick streams. Eric froze for a second, as if stunned by what he'd done. He reached out, almost trying to help me, but Lily let out a piercing scream. "My foot. I think it's broken. It hurts so much. What if I can never dance again?" she wailed. "Eric, help me please." The guilt in Eric's eyes vanished. He shoved me hard, knocking me to the ground. "Samantha, if you think I'll ever let you step into the Miller family again, dream on. Unless you kneel and knock your head to the floor 100 times for Lily, it's never going to happen. And if anything happens to her leg, I'll break yours myself." With that, he scooped Lily into his arms and stormed out. As they left, Lily shot me a triumphant smirk and mouthed, "He's mine." "You lost, bitch." I told myself it no longer mattered. Eric had already erased me from his heart. But in that moment, the pain in my chest ripped through me like a blade. I felt like I was being torn apart from the inside out. I collapsed on the floor and broke into uncontrollable sobs. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Let's continue. Footsteps. Urgent and quick. They pounded closer. A military coat draped softly over my shoulders. The fabric was rough, warm, and smelled of pine and gunpowder. I looked up, dazed. Under the dim yellow porch light stood a tall, ruggedly handsome man. He was dusty and windblown, his uniform rumpled as if he had traveled a long way in a hurry. But his eyes were full of concern. "Jason," I choked out. "Jason Reed. Why are you here?" His brows were deeply furrowed. His eyes darkened like a storm. "I heard you chose me," he said, his voice low and rough. So I jumped the wall and ran out of the base. He glanced around the room, taking in the mess, the shattered glass, the blood on my arm, the photographs scattered across the floor. His jaw tightened. "He did all this," Jason said. It wasn't a question. And he had the nerve to take photos with another woman too. His face darkened with fury. "That bastard. He promised me he'd treat you right. Son of a bitch. I swear I'm going to kill him tonight." I rushed to stop him, grabbing his arm. I couldn't let him go. As much as I wanted revenge on Eric, Jason was a soldier. Getting into a fight could ruin his career, and no matter how selfish I felt, I couldn't let someone else pay the price for me. But Jason misunderstood. He thought I was still trying to protect Eric. His expression flickered with pain. "Don't be sad because of him," he said softly. "He's not worth a single tear." He crouched down and took out a clean handkerchief, gently wiping my cheeks. When he saw the cuts on my arm, he sucked in a sharp breath. "Eric Miller, that spineless bastard. I swear I'll skin him alive." He focused on my arm. "Don't move. I'll clean the glass out first. If it hurts, just bite my hand." He was so careful. So gentle. Like I was the most precious thing in the world. Afterward, he took me to the clinic. He bought the best ointments and wrote down every single care instruction in a small notebook. Then he walked me home, not leaving my side once. I heard him mumbling under his breath. "You really like him that much? What does he even have over me? I'm way better looking." Despite all the pain and heartbreak, his words caught me off guard. I let out a laugh, bright, unexpected, and real. It was true. I hadn't seen him in so long, and somehow he had become even more handsome. More rugged. More magnetic than any movie star. I suddenly felt shy just looking at him. The thought that I would be marrying him in just a short while made my face burn. "Do you want to come in for a bit?" I asked. The air between us felt heavy, charged with something I couldn't name. My whole body was trembling nervously, but his voice suddenly dropped, hoarse and dull with a kind of aching sadness. "Eric said you've hated me since we were kids. He said you only chose me this time to get back at him." Jason looked away. "But I don't care. Even if this is a fake marriage, even if we get married and then divorced, I'll go along with whatever you want. Sammy, I just want you to know, as long as you're happy, I'll do anything. His Adam's apple bobbed sharply as he turned to leave. I thought I saw something shimmering at the corner of his eye. Don't go, I said. I rushed forward and blocked his path. He turned his head quickly, trying to hide his tears from me. Looking him dead in the eyes, I spoke clearly, slowly, and from the heart. Jason, listen to me. I want to marry you. Really marry you. This isn't a sham. It's not about getting married just to get divorced. I want to marry you. It has nothing to do with anyone else, and I've never hated you, not once. That was all Eric's manipulation. The light returned to his eyes, sudden and blazing. He blinked rapidly, his breath catching in his throat. Oh, he stammered. Okay. I get it now. Then, after a beat, he added, of course, if you like someone else, then forget it. I'll wish you both the best. There's no one else, I said firmly. The only person I like is you. I like you too, he shouted before he could stop himself. Then he immediately turned beet red, like someone had branded his face with a hot iron. It's getting late, he mumbled. You should get some rest. I have to hurry back to my unit, but I'll come back on leave to marry you. All right, I said. I'll wait for you. As I watched him walk away, his limbs out of sync, like a boy trying to act casual but failing, a quiet warmth bloomed in my chest. This time around, I hoped both of us would find happiness. Jason returned to his base, but he called me every single day. I never realized we had so much in common, so many shared interests, endless things to talk about. The wounds on my body and in my heart slowly began to heal under his steady care. The day finally came for me to report to the arts troupe. I was beyond excited, riding my old bike as fast as I could. Dancing was my dream. It had been the one constant in both my lives, the thing that made me feel whole. But when I got there, they told me I'd been removed from the list. The reason? Alleged cheating and voluntary withdrawal. I went to find the deputy director. Just as I arrived, I saw Eric walking up hand in hand with Lily. Deputy, please take care of our sweet Lily, Eric said with a smile. If there's ever anything you need, just say the word. No problem, the deputy replied, a cigarette dangling from his lips. He lounged in his chair, legs crossed, and squinted at Lily. Lily's a great talent. I could tell from the moment she walked in for her audition. He looked at her with obvious, shameless intent. Then he spotted me. His tone changed completely. Well, he sneered. If it isn't Miss Lee, the one too good for our humble little arts troupe. Weren't you headed to work at the municipal government? What, you slumming it with us now for fun? He scoffed. Mayor's daughter thinks she can cheat, pull strings, and treat us like fools. What kind of official behavior is this? Let me tell you something, Miss High and Mighty. So long as I'm here, you'll never set foot in this troupe. I rushed to explain, but Eric yanked me out by the arm. What are you doing here? He snapped. Didn't you already give your spot to Lily? Get lost. You're not welcome here. I couldn't believe how shameless he had become. My face flushed with fury as I shoved him hard. Eric Miller, when did I ever say I cheated or gave up my spot? I earned that place with my own effort. You know better than anyone how hard I've worked since I was a kid, how much blood, sweat, and tears I've poured into dancing. You know how badly I wanted to become a performer in the arts troupe. Who gave you the right to make decisions for me and then pile on all these lies? I glared at him, my voice trembling. Look at what you've become. You used to talk about being just and honorable, a man who could tell right from wrong. Now you're nothing but a despicable, shameless, low-life scumbag. Eric's face twitched. A flicker of guilt flashed across it, but he still clung to his excuse. I owe her, he said. I should have married her in the last life, not you. Without me, her life was miserable. She needs me. I pretended not to understand what he meant. But he suddenly leaned in and whispered coldly. Don't act like I don't know. You were reborn too, weren't you? In our last life, I married you. I doted on you. Took care of you and your precious Lee family till the end of my days. So what more do you want from me now? Samantha Lee, you treated me like a servant, but in our last life, I already paid my debt in full. I owe you nothing. I owe your family nothing. I stared at him, stunned. He was reborn. but only with fragments of his memory. He had actually forgotten, or chosen to forget, how he had caused the death of my entire family. While I was still frozen, a sudden force shoved me hard. I lost my balance and fell violently down the staircase from the 3rd floor. The last thing I saw before losing consciousness was Lily Carter's smug, gloating face. "Go to hell," she sneered. My leg was broken, completely shattered. The doctor said that, although it could be treated, I would probably never be able to dance again in this lifetime. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Just like that, my dream, the one I had carried through 2 lives, was destroyed so easily. In my last life, I had made it into the arts troupe, but I was constantly suppressed by the deputy director and never allowed to truly perform. Later, I became pregnant and was forced to leave the troupe altogether. Now, despair crashed over me. Would I ever be free from the shadows of Eric Miller and Lily Carter? Was fate always this cruel, punishing only the kind-hearted while rewarding the wicked? My mother clutched my hand, sobbing uncontrollably. My father stood in the corner, his arms folded behind his back, letting out one heavy sigh after another. I didn't want to endure anymore. I took a deep breath. "It was Lily," I said. "She pushed me. She did it on purpose. I want to press charges." My parents looked at me, first shocked, then furious. They believed me. But we had no evidence. Just then, Jason Reed burst into the room, drenched in sweat. "Sammy, Mr. and Mrs. Lee, don't worry. I'll go find proof right now." I hurriedly stopped him. "No, don't go. The only person who saw it was Eric, and there's no way he'd testify for me." Still, even if I had no proof, I swore I would make them pay. In blood. Jason's fists clenched. He turned to storm out, but my parents grabbed his arms. "You have to think about the bigger picture, Jason," my father said. "What did you learn in the military? That whenever something unjust happens, you should just fight and kill." Jason lowered his head in shame. "I'm sorry. I just don't want Sammy to suffer anymore." Honestly, there was a part of me that wanted Jason to take care of those 2 scumbags for good. But after spending time with him these past few weeks, I had changed. I realized I had started to care about him, genuinely, and I didn't want to lose the happiness I had finally found. So I swallowed my anger. For now. But someday, I would get it all back. The wedding was only a week away when I got a phone call that put me in a fantastic mood. An idea had formed in my mind, a deep pit carefully planned. If I played this right, I might be able to destroy those 2 scumbags in one shot. I put on a stunning new designer outfit and rolled myself in a wheelchair to the most prestigious tailor shop in the city. Just as I reached the entrance, I heard Lily Carter's voice inside, chirping away. "Eric, I just love these wedding outfits so much. I know we're skipping the banquet out of respect for Sammy's family, but I really want to wear these for you." Just once, the old tailor sounded nervous. "Miss, I'm afraid that's not possible. These were custom-made a month ago for Mayor Lee's daughter. One of a kind. We can't sell them." Eric slammed the table. "You know who I am, right? If it belongs to Samantha Lee, it's mine. Pack it up, and those other sets Lily liked. Wrap them all up too. Put it on Samantha's tab." I rolled into the shop and let out a cold laugh. "Eric Miller, if you like my wedding outfit so much, why don't you just wear them yourself? Now take your filthy hands off them." Eric's brows twitched the moment he saw me in a wheelchair. He turned to Lily and muttered, "How did she fall that badly?" "It was just 1 floor. What's with all the drama?" He got even more arrogant. "Samantha Lee, you've made trouble for Lily over and over again. These are just peace offerings. I'm not marrying you anyway, so you won't need the wedding clothes." Lily giggled as she traced circles on his chest. "But Sammy's outfit is really pretty too. I love it. If you're making peace, can I have that one as well, sis?" I shot them both a glare. 2 dung beetles and masks. Disgusting. Doesn't matter how fancy the covers are, trash is still trash. Lily immediately covered her face and began sobbing dramatically. "I knew it. Miss Lee looks down on us working-class folks. I guess we're not good enough to wear fancy clothes like these." Then, she plopped herself on the floor and pointed at me. "Sammy, why'd you push me again? My foot still hasn't healed from last time." "It really hurts." Eric's expression turned ice cold. Whether you give them up or not, I'm taking them. Otherwise, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what you and your precious father really are. The moment he brought up my dad, my heart clenched. In my last life, he and Lily had framed my father for indecency. That got him dismissed, denounced, and thrown in prison. What are you trying to do? I asked. What am I doing? Eric sneered. Let's talk about how your dad died. Let's talk about how he became mayor. What gave your family the right to live such a good life? Shut up, I snapped. My father is the most honorable man I know. He sponsored your education, got you into school, helped you find work. You're just a heartless ingrate, a thankless wolf who bit the hand that fed him. A thankless wolf, he scoffed. All that kindness from your family. That was just brainwashing. You made me think you were good people. If it weren't for Lily, I wouldn't have seen through it. But now I have. He leaned in closer, his voice low and venomous. Just wait. You and your whole family are going to pay in blood. With that, he ripped the clothes off me and threw me into the street. I lay in the mud, wearing nothing but a tank top, while a crowd of strangers surrounded me, whispering and pointing. Is that really Mayor Lee's daughter? She's so pretty. Why lower herself to being a side piece? Did you hear that honest, righteous Mayor Lee got to his seat stepping on corpses? His daughter must be just like him. She stole another girl's spot just to chase a man, then sent her to the countryside. No wonder she broke her leg. Served her right, their words hit harder than slaps. I had never known public opinion could be this terrifying. No one believed me. I couldn't explain, couldn't defend myself. All I could do was curl up tightly, arms around my body, tears dripping silently onto the cold pavement. Someone threw a rock at me. Then a warm weight fell over me. A military coat, thick and broad, wrapping me from head to toe. Jason Reed had come back. Earlier than I expected. Jason held my battered body close and shouted at the crowd. Spreading rumors, inciting chaos, those are crimes. Anyone who keeps talking nonsense, I'll arrest you on the spot. The moment people heard the word arrest, their tone changed. Panic set in. Then prove she's innocent. Yeah, why don't people say these things about others? We're not lying. It was those two comrades who said it first. Jason raised his hand calmly. Then no one leaves. You all want the truth, right? Fine. Today I'll give you the truth. He gently placed me back in my wheelchair, his eyes full of heartache. Sammy, I'm sorry I got here late. You've suffered so much. But I promise, this time I'll make things right. I bit my lower lip. Too bad our wedding outfits were taken. He reached out with his long, calloused fingers and gently wiped away my tears. I remember when you were little. You said your biggest dream was to become a military wife and take your wedding photos in uniform. I was stunned. A ripple spread through my heart. He still remembered the wish I made when I was 5 years old. Could it be? He joined the army because of me. He smiled. Yes. I joined the army for you. I worked hard and earned my merits so you'd see how far I've come. I lowered my head, my face burning red. And I have good news too, he said. Our Special Operations Unit just completed a major mission. We captured a group of enemy agents. I was awarded a Class 2 merit, and the command approved my promotion to a regiment-level officer. They've also approved my transfer, so I can work here in the city. Sammy, from now on, I'll be your personal guard. You'll never have to be scared again. Then, with a mischievous gleam in his eye, he pulled something out of his bag. Look what this is. Special approval from the unit. It's for Comrade Samantha Lee, military spouse, to wear at her wedding. Do you like it? Through my tears, I laughed and nodded hard. It's beautiful. Just then, 2 officers escorted Eric Miller and Lily Carter toward us. Jason pointed at them. They're the ones spreading lies and causing trouble. The crowd murmured in agreement. Yes, it was them. Eric squirmed and struggled. What do you think you're doing? You think being a soldier gives you the right to arrest people? Lily clutched her belly. Be careful. I'm pregnant. Don't hurt our baby. Eric relaxed slightly when he saw Jason. Jason, it's you. This is all a misunderstanding. Come on. Let us go. Jason let out a cold laugh. Don't act so familiar with me. Let me ask you, did you or did you not steal this comrade's wedding dress? Did you or did you not tear it off her and throw her in the street? Lily cut in, tears in her eyes. That's not how it happened, comrade. He gave them to me voluntarily. He took the clothes off himself. He admitted he wronged me in the past and apologized, so I reluctantly accepted. She was twisting everything. The crowd grew angrier. I signaled the old tailor with a glance. He stepped forward and shouted, "You're all wrong. It was Eric Miller who caused all this. He's been putting purchases under Miss Lee's name for years, always claiming it's for her or for Mayor Lee's office. He's taken plenty from us merchants along the street. We can all testify," he pointed accusingly. Now he's getting married to another woman and still wants Miss Lee to pay for everything. When she refused, they humiliated her in my shop, stripped her of her clothes, and threw her onto the street. I couldn't stop them. Miss Lee, I'm sorry. I failed to protect you. Right after that, shopkeepers all along the street came forward, speaking up for me. The crowd finally realized the truth. Fingers pointed at Eric, and Lily as curses flew. Under the weight of public scorn, Eric and Lily had no choice but to bow and apologize. They tossed the stolen clothes onto my lap and tried to leave. "Wait," Jason called out. "What about the compensation?" The old tailor said, "We've kept records." He and the other shopkeepers began tallying things on their abacuses. Within minutes, they had the total. 5,000 yuan. Eric and Lily emptied their pockets and scraped together just 250. They were forced to write an IOU. Jason handed them a pen and paper. "Eric, you didn't just violate social ethics. You incited trouble, harassed a woman, disrupted public order, and committed robbery in broad daylight. On top of that, you slandered Mayor Lee. As for this woman," he glanced coldly at Lily, "she deliberately stirred public resentment against the party and the people. Both of you have committed serious crimes against the nation and its citizens. You owe this crowd an explanation. You owe Miss Lee and Mayor Lee an explanation." Take them away, I was deeply satisfied. Everything had gone exactly as I planned. Eric sat in a cold, damp detention room. Time dragged like an endless abyss. No sunlight. No freedom. Just darkness and loneliness. How had he ended up like this? Once upon a time, he was the golden boy, the pride of the city. Everyone knew him as the son of a martyr, a role model, and Mayor Lee's future son-in-law. And now he was here. When the iron door creaked open, a police officer stepped in. "You're being released," Eric stared in disbelief. A charge like this, disturbing public order, assault, slander, could easily land someone a death sentence. How could he be released? He lit up. It had to be Samantha. She'd forgiven him. She must have. Of course she had. She loved him. She always had. But what greeted him at the gates wasn't Samantha. It was his mother. She slapped him. Twice. Hard. "You ungrateful bastard," she screamed. "What the hell have you done? I don't have a son like you. I wish I could shove you back into my womb and strangle you with the cord. You're just like that no-good father of yours." Rotten to the core, Eric stood there stunned. "Ma'am, what are you talking about? My dad was a martyr. A hero. He died saving Mayor Lee, didn't he?" She glared up at him, tears and hatred spilling from her eyes. "That's just a story your Uncle Lee made up to comfort you. He didn't want you to follow in your father's footsteps. What are you talking about?" Eric shouted. "The thing I'm most proud of in my life is my father." His mother's voice shook with fury. "Proud? That ungrateful bastard. Meeting him was the biggest curse of my life, and giving birth to a monster like you is my greatest regret." She shoved him away and stood tall. "Listen to me carefully. Your father was a rapist. A piece of human garbage. I didn't want to date him, so he dragged me into a cornfield and forced himself on me. I got pregnant with you and had no choice but to marry that man, a criminal, a rapist." She was trembling now, her voice growing hoarse. "And even after all that, he never changed. He leeched off his childhood friendship with your Uncle Lee, Mayor Lee, to freeload and cheat and con everyone around him. Your Uncle Lee tried to help him, but he turned on him. Pushed him off a cliff." She paused, swallowing hard. "They both went down. Hung onto a tiny tree. It was Jason's father who pulled Mayor Lee to safety. But when he went to save your father, that bastard stepped on him, used him to climb. In the end, they both fell to their deaths." Jason's father, a good man, died because of your father. Eric grabbed his own hair, pulling at it in agony. No. No, that's not true. I don't believe it. I'm a martyr's son. I'm one of the good ones. I'm not the son of a rapist. I'm not a murderer's son. Believe what you want, his mother said coldly. But hear me now. From this day forward, I have nothing to do with you. I'm cutting you off for good. Go back to that tramp if you want, but I've got no son like you. You come near me again, I swear I'll kill myself. Eric stumbled to the tiny rental apartment he had gotten for Lily. He expected to be greeted by his delicate little lover. His wife would always be Samantha Lee, but Lily was his escape. What he saw instead was the last thing any man would ever want to see. Lily was naked in bed with another man. And not just any man, the deputy director from the arts troupe. The very same man Eric had once begged for help. You dirty little witch, Eric seethed. Lily stretched unfazed. So what? He got what he deserved. What are you gonna do? Raise his baby. The deputy director lit a cigarette and smirked. I heard he's got some old mother too. The Lee family's been feeding them for years. You planning on caring for her in her old age too? Lily yawned. What baby? I made that up. That idiot believed anything I said. No way I'm taking care of his mom. But I am gonna take every last cent I can get out of him. She leaned over and giggled. Oh, and just between us, I've got a little secret. I've been reborn too. Eric's eyes went wide. Yeah. Last time around, I told him I'd been assaulted by a bunch of thugs. I sowed doubt between him and the Lee family until he completely turned on them. In the end, he destroyed Samantha's whole family. Crippled her. Broke her arms and legs. Even drained her heart blood. Then he ripped their baby out of her body to cook it for me. She licked her lips like it was a pleasant memory. I thought he loved me like no one else ever would. So this time, I made sure to split them up early. But even in bed, he'd cry out her name, Samantha's. Ugh. Disgusting, Eric's head buzzed like a swarm of bees. His vision went dark as a flood of memories surged into him, the truth of what he had done, what she had made him do. Without thinking, he grabbed the sickle from the floor and charged into the bedroom. By the time he snapped out of it, the bed was soaked in blood. The lovers had been hacked into unrecognizable chunks of flesh. Eric walked calmly into the bathroom. He washed himself clean, every inch. Then he used the blood-streaked sickle to shave his face. He had to look presentable for her. Outside, drums pounded. The wedding celebration was in full swing. Family and friends were smiling and laughing, filled with joy. But I couldn't relax. My heart kept racing. My eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Something felt off. The door creaked open. I turned and froze. It was Eric. His bloodshot eyes stared straight at me. A blood-stained sickle hung from his hand. The doctor said this military uniform looks good on me, he murmured. Even better than the red wedding robe we wore when we got married. He took a step closer. I'm sorry, Sammy. I just remembered what I did in our past life. I was stupid. I shouldn't have believed anyone else. Come with me. Let's start over. I know you still love me. There's no way you'd fall for a brute like Jason. You only chose him because he avenged you, right? He smiled. Well, I've killed for you too. Lily Carter is dead. No one is standing in our way anymore. My heart sank. I grabbed the scissors from the nightstand and pointed them at him. Get out. Don't come near me, but he didn't flinch. He walked right up and pressed his hand onto the blade, slicing through skin without hesitation. Terrified, I dropped the scissors. He seized the moment to pull me into his arms, pressing his lips against my ear. Let's run away, Sammy. Just you and me. Somewhere no one knows us. We'll start fresh. We'll have so many children. We'll be the happiest people in the world. I love you, Sammy. Do you know how much I love you? Let me go. I struggled with everything I had, but he only tightened his grip. You smell so good. If you want our wedding night right here, I'm fine with that. You're insane. This is rape, Eric. Don't make me regret signing the leniency petition. Your mother got on her knees and begged for it. Don't you owe her that much? None of that matters anymore. Nothing matters. I only want you. Sammy, I love you. I love you so much. He pinned me down, his face twisted with obsession. Just as I was about to scream in despair, there was a loud crack. Twice, Eric howled like an animal. Jason had shattered both his arms. Jason moved like a beast, fists pounding into Eric's body with merciless fury. And suddenly, something unlocked inside me. An old memory. Long buried. Years ago, I had been drugged and kidnapped by traffickers. Through the haze, I saw a figure, furious, fearless, beating the captors to a pulp. I never remembered what happened afterward. Eric had always claimed he was the one who saved me, so I felt indebted. But now I knew. It had been Jason all along. He had been silently protecting me for years. And I never realized. At that moment, police officers burst in. What's going on here? Who's Eric Miller? I immediately pointed to the man lying bloodied and beaten on the floor. It's him. He just tried to rape me. My husband saved me. Officer, please help us. One of the officers stepped forward. Eric Miller, you are under arrest for the murder of 2 individuals and attempted rape. Come with us. Jason rushed to my side and wrapped his arms tightly around me. His voice trembled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you in time. I buried my face in his neck. No. You got here. You came for me, Jason. Thank God you came. Then give me your heart, he whispered. Sammy, I want you to fall in love with me. I've dreamed of that day. He looked into my eyes with such intensity, so much love brimming in his gaze. My eyes stung. I couldn't stop myself. I leaned in closer. And I gently kissed his lips. The wedding took place as planned. Surrounded by blessings and smiling faces, Jason and I were officially married. That night, I locked him out in the courtyard and wouldn't let him into the bedroom. I folded my arms and demanded an explanation. Why do people say you have messy relationships with women? That you hit them? Jason looked like he was about to cry. It's not what it sounds like. We were on a special undercover mission. The organization made us pose as couples to investigate enemy spies. A few of my teammates had to cross-dress as women, but once they got in costume, they kept trying to kiss me. I thought it was disgusting, so I beat the crap out of them. He looked at me with pleading eyes. Comrade leader, I'm innocent. Please let me in. I don't want to sleep alone on our wedding night. I burst out laughing. Before I could even reach for the door, he swooped me into his arms. Thanks for trusting me, leader. He pressed a kiss to my forehead. And here's more good news. The military hospital in the capital says your leg can fully recover. We'll head there for treatment in a few days. I already spoke with the head of the arts troupe. He said your placement has always been held open. You can return whenever you're ready. Overwhelmed with joy, I kissed Jason again and again. That night was long and tender. Inside the house, the air was thick with warmth, love, and endless happiness. Months passed before I heard anything about Eric Miller again. Right before his execution, he requested to see me one last time. I didn't go. After he was executed, someone brought me a letter he had left behind. If there's another life, I swear I'll love only you. Trust only you. When I'm reborn, I'll come back to be with you, and only you. I rolled my eyes and tossed the letter straight into the trash. But unfortunately, Jason saw it. He was furious with jealousy, like 1,000 vinegar jars exploding at once. And for the next 60-some years of our happy, silver-haired marriage, no matter how old we got, he made me promise over and over again. In every lifetime, he would say, holding my hand in the garden, in every world you will love only me. And every time, I smiled and kissed him. Only you, Jason. Only you. If you've enjoyed walking this journey of revenge and rebirth with RED Reborn English drama, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. Your support is the biggest motivation for me to keep creating and bringing more powerful stories to life. Every comment means a lot and helps the channel grow stronger each day. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to see you in the next story.